See, yeah, you guys are making me cranky. Welcome to Tea with Mags. Today, am I crooked? What are we doing right now? It's not like this is, held on with a hair tie or anything. It's not. That's not what's happening. Welcome to Tea with Mags. I really want this story with PewDiePie to sort of go away, and I don't want to, hang too much on it because I have other things I want to talk about. But, here, I just watched this thing by Markiplier about respect, and as much respect as I have for him, this video was so cringy for me. I don't even consider this like a white privilege or like a male privilege. This is just like a fucking rich people thing where you're supposed to have respect for them and what they do, but them having respect for other people, I don't know. I understand where Markiplier was coming from, having respect for people and sort of basic decency and not calling them names based on hearsay or things that are thought of out of context. But it's so frustrating to me. The guy hires someone to put up a sign that says "Death to all Jews," and you're shocked and appalled that people would jump to the wild conclusion that maybe he's an anti-Semite. Maybe. The horrors. How dare you, sir? How dare you make that lewd accusation that just because I paid poor people to hold up this anti-Semitic sign that I might have anti-Semitic values? How dare you, sir? If I worked at a store and I was talking to a customer who I was on good terms with, and we're cool, right? And I decided to tell a salacious story, and another customer walks by as they hear me say, "And that's the second time I killed a hooker." They're mad. They tell the fucking boss, my supervisor or something, and then they're mad at me. Is it really okay for me to be no, in the context of the story, I didn't actually kill a hooker. I wasn't actually making light of the deaths of sex workers. It's a joke. I was joking. Yeah, that totally makes it fine, and I wouldn't be fired for that. He made the statement well, South Park gets to say stuff like that, and is it not okay? Comedy Central and Disney, two very different things. There's always a risk when you're doing comedy like that offensive comedy. It's not really offensive, it's just in poor taste, but that's not the point. When you're going on a limb, you're sort of rolling the dice to see if it lands, and if it doesn't land, there's a consequence for it. And to be so shocked and appalled at the idea that you would face consequences for risking something and failing it's just so fucking childish. It's such a spoiled rich kid thing. It just drives me crazy. Just let it go. Get over it. You deserve to get fired from your fucking brand because you did something shitty. Just learn and move on. You're a millionaire. You'll be fine. Okay, Milo Yiannopoulos was on Bill Maher, and I was worried about this because as much as I do enjoy Bill Maher in some instances, I have not really enjoyed what he said about other things. And I was afraid he would sort of pal around with Milo Yiannopoulos, which to a certain extent he did, but then this happened.
Oh, come on, you need to start inviting higher IQ guests, or this is going to be a disaster.
First of all, wait.
These are very high.
Wait, hold on, Bill. You can go fuck yourself, all right?
Yeah.
If this is offensive, if your argument is that these people are stupid, you didn't hear a word this man said early in this segment, because he can talk circles around your pathetic, douchey little ass for no reason.
It's beautiful. It makes me so happy that happened. It's like what we've all been wanting to say for 3 years, and it happened on TV. So he goes on this rambling bullshit about transgender people. And it's all it's bunk. There's nothing, he's not right, factually. The question I really want to ask is why does he think that he's an authority on this? Why does anyone think that Milo Yiannopoulos is an authority on transgender people? He's not a psychologist. He's not a sociologist. He's not a fucking doctor. In fact, all of the medical science regarding transgender people says that he's completely full of shit. And yet all of these skeptics, I'll put a pin in that because we'll talk about that in another fucking episode. You skeptics. They completely ignore the evidence, the medical evidence, about that, in favor of something that makes them feel good. It's almost like masturbatory skepticism in a way. Like, yes, transgender people are mentally ill, and they are a danger. They're such a danger to women and children in bathrooms. Yeah, that feels right. That's not what medical science says. It's not what the data says, but I'm sure it feels right. So, yay. You're not a scientist. Okay, I've been bitching about things for a lot, but I actually have a really happy story. And this is, well, it didn't end happy, but it was happy for a while. I didn't get what I wanted, but it's not the point. So as many of you know, I am like a big Twin Peaks fan, and I have been writing a Twin Peaks episode to sort of go along with the season 3 that's coming up, and I'm really excited about it. And I decided, I was going through Twitter and I was like, ooh, Angelo Badalamenti, who is the composer for the theme song and the whole soundtrack for Twin Peaks, he's on Twitter. And so I'm going to follow him. And he followed me right back. Immediately. Okay, so there are a few things that could be going on here, I thought to myself, me talking in my head. One, he could have some sort of like auto-follow thing that I was not aware existed and I actually don't think exists at all. Or he could be the type of person who automatically follows back anybody who follows him. You know, the people who are like, I have 69,000 followers and I'm following 69,000 people. But no, he's only following 98 people. And as far as I can tell, most of them are just like Twin Peaks accounts and other actors. Why are you following me? There's so much pressure now. All I do is rant about politics and say fuck a lot. However, being the opportunistic shill that I am, I decided to take this opportunity to private message him about the music for my video. So when you're a YouTuber, you have a couple of options when it comes to music, right? You can get royalty-free, music that's made on a Casio keyboard and may or may not be of high quality or fit what you are doing and just sort of deal with the lower quality music. Or you can rip off music from other things and just cross your fingers that it isn't caught in the copyright filter. But I figure, hey, like, he followed me, I could private message him, why not just ask for his permission to use the soundtrack? Couldn't hurt, all he could say is no. So I sent him this very polite, long thing about like, I'm a really big fan and I'm a small YouTuber and I'm doing this art video and I would just be so honored if you would let me use your music, and I totally understand if you don't, but it's, I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. He didn't respond to me immediately, but when he finally got back to me, he got back to me with just an email address. Contact blank. This was so mysterious, like who is this person? So I then emailed that person, whoever they may be, and just went along and was like, hello, Angelo Badalamenti sent me to you, and I don't know who you are. As it turns out, the person was Sabrina Sutherland, who's the producer for Twin Peaks, and she was super nice and polite to me. She did unfortunately tell me that it's up to Warner Brothers music licensing, and I could try to explain it to them and see if I could negotiate a lower price, but in the situation I am in, it would probably be a no. But she was so cool about it, and she applauded my attempts to, go through the right venues and ask for permission instead of just taking it. And it was super cool to talk to her. I had a massive fangirl moment. The last thing I want to talk about today is this article that went up on medium.com that kind of blew me away. I had always had a vague sort of understanding that there was a connection, but I couldn't put all the pins in place. And this guy managed to do it. His name is Dale Barron. He wrote an article called 4chan, The Skeleton Key to the Rise of Trump. I know some of you have giggled at me before, especially on Twitter, when I have made claims that there was a connection between Gamergate and the rise of Trump and that sort of rise of right-wing fascism. I could see it happening, I could see the sort of swell happen, but I couldn't pinpoint the direct dots. He did it. So this guy was on 4chan when it originally started in 2005, when Christopher Poole, aka Moot, created the site, and he follows everything from its like humble beginnings, just being sort of about anime, and the entire people on 4chan could all fit in one room, to the days when they were, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they were like picketing the Scientology building and protesting it just sort of as a joke. And the rise of the weirdness and the sort of claiming of Pepe and all of that. he goes through all of it and he walks you through how it happened step by step. It's really, really fascinating. It's kind of terrifying, but all of it makes a lot of sense when you see it put out in one big blob of text. So that's it for me, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this Tea with Mags. I'm sorry if I was a little bit grumpy. The internet has been making me seriously grumpy recently. I am writing a new batch of letters for my patrons today who are sending me their addresses. So if you do want to be in the mailing list and get letters from me, you can head on over to patreon.com and join for $1 a month. Be warned that if you do receive letters from me in the mail, it may look like your pen pal is a 12-year-old girl from Japan. That is my aesthetic. I can't help it. So I hope you guys had fun, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.